All right, everybody, we're joined. This man needs no introduction. He is a Hall of Famer, 4-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, Joe Montana. Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, Joe, let's get right into Super Bowl right now. There is a lot of storylines around this game, one of which is the Cinderella Cincinnati Bengals. And you know a little bit about the Cincinnati Bengals. Your third Super Bowl, you ended up beating them in Super Bowl 23. But what does this version of the Cincinnati Bengals need to do in order to continue that Cinderella story and win the Super Bowl?
They got a young quarterback, but he doesn't play like that. You know, he's a little bit more mature. And, you know, I think when you look at the teams that win the Super Bowls, the majority of the time, they're teams that can run the football. They take a lot of pressure off the quarterback, you know, and especially early on for him, just let him get settled in. And, you know, both, you know, Jennifer said she thinks they're going to win, and so do I. And, you know, nothing against the Rams, but they have been, you know, our nemesis for many, many years. We both like the Bengals.
I love that. I feel like you're lifting the curse.
Ashley's
so
like excited.
The last time they were at the Super Bowl.
They're creating it. They're adding to it.
Okay, so we talked about Joe Burrow. One of the things that they're going to need to at least deal with, maybe not fix, but the fact that their offensive line is going to face a lot of pressure. He's been sacked a ton. So when you're going into a game and you know that you might get roughed up a little bit, how do you prepare for that? What are you worried about in order to, I guess, minimize the damage from someone like Aaron Donald, who is a machine?
Machine, yeah.
I point back to a game I played in Philadelphia where, you know, we played Buddy Ryan and they had this, you know, Reggie White and all these monsters up front. And everybody didn't think we could handle them. And like the first series, I throw a long touchdown to Jerry Rice. And then I sit back and I go, wow, this is going to be easy. And then I thought, but I never picked myself up off the ground more times in one game than that from that point on. And eventually in the fourth quarter, we came back and scored to win. So he can't get frustrated that he's getting sacked because, you know what, they got a pretty good defensive front and they're going to get pressure. But as much as they can help him, whether it's the running game or getting, you know, or getting the ball out quick, certainly will help, but he also has to understand he's going to get hit.
I want to talk about the Rams. I want to talk about Cooper Kupp. He is phenomenal. When you watch him play, who is he shades of? Does he remind you of anybody that either you've seen or maybe you've played with?
No, you know what? He's a different cat. You know, he can get behind you. He can run through the middle. Yeah, you know, he kind of snuck up on people, unlike, you know, a little bit of Jerry Rice-ish with him, but Jerry didn't sneak up on people. He was a first-round pick. Yeah. And here's a guy that was, am I right? He was a quarterback, right?
Yeah, Cooper was.
Yeah. And so his thing is I think that a lot of people, the nice thing about making a quarterback into a wide receiver is they understand the ability to read defenses. Yep. And that makes a huge difference to the guy throwing the football to you.
Now, we've talked about Joe Burrow and how many, you know, his pocket presence, what he does great. When we turn it over and you talk about Matthew Stafford, and I'm on the same boat as you, Joe, he's either all-world or he's making all-world mistakes. To minimize those mistakes is obviously a key point for the Rams to have victory, but what else do you see if the Rams are going to come out victorious for this one?
Well, the defense obviously has got to be big. Yeah. You know, when we look back on the championships that we won in San Francisco, we either had a really good defense or we had great defenses. And it wasn't too far between when they were really good and then when they were great. You can't win if you can't stop somebody.
Yeah.
The NFL's been talking about expanding 4 teams, one of which would be a Canadian team. The destination would probably be Toronto. Do you see that happening?
I don't see why not. I mean, it makes total sense. I mean, they're right across the border. It's not like you're jumping across the big pond. So, yeah, I see no reason why it wouldn't come to Canada.
Well, Joe, we just want to thank you so much for being a part of the initial episode of Game Plan, and all the best, and enjoy your Super Bowl weekend, okay?
Looking forward to it. Thank you. Nice to see you both.